Hello, hello. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in even though you're at the store. It's much appreciated. Good morning. As always, it's me, Salem. Another week of Brunch and Build. Show where we brunch and we also build. Well, we brunch or build and or. It's more like brunch and or build, I feel like. Because I feel like you can multitask, but also I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, what is it really good to like eat and build at the same time? Because like, what your greasy hands getting all over the model kit. Probably not the best. Hello, 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 Heather. But yeah, I'm like, wait a second. I say brunch and or build, like you can do both at the same time, and I'm like, I'm all for multitasking, but I'm also thinking about how I don't eat and build model kits at the same time because I don't want food grease getting on my model kits. So I retract everything. It's brunch or build, okay? You can either be brunching with me or you can be building with me. Maybe one after the maybe sequentially. I think that's an option to do them sequentially. But for the most part, it's you are brunching or you are building. That's I feel like the more likely, I shall say. Easier to do, perhaps. Is anything lagging? Because it feels like it's lagging a little bit on my end. Please let me know if there's any issues with that so I can try and fix it. Um, yeah, please let me know if there's any issues with that so I can try and fix it. Right now, I was having a little bit of issues with my computer on startup because things, I don't know why, just like literally everything decided to update today, and so I had to wait for my computer to update, and then I had to wait for OBS to update, and then I had to wait for Discord to update, and just everything decided to update today. And so I'm like, what is happening? Sound fine to me right now? Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it's like the lag's not, I don't know why. It's like, it seems fine now on my end. Um, but there was like a little bit of lag earlier on my end, so I just wanted to make sure that nothing is funky. My computer is okay. It just decided that everything's updating right now, and I'm like, okay, I guess. I guess that's simply the life we are living. But anyhow, that's enough. That's enough troubleshooting. We are now to get to what we're really here for, and that is working on Mr. Gouf. As you see, last week he completed his head. I think progress on Mr. Gouf has been going really good. Last week we made the head, put it on the body, had a good time, and so today we continue with his legs. And so hopefully Mr. Gouf will be mobile soon. will be mobile soon. He will have legs to walk with which to walk on. I remember we did all of these little bits individually. Stress marks are looking kind of rough on here, but also mold lines, like that's stuff that I can do is like finishing work and deal with that. Because it's not just stress marks, it's mold lines. You can't really see it on camera. It's mostly like me being a freak about things. Because I'm a perfectionist. Like from this distance, like I think you can barely notice some of these stress marks on these little bits. But I notice them, which means I have to do something about it. And it will bother me if I don't. So we'll see. That's probably something I'll do at a later time. But for now, we're living. Man, my my plastic glue thing got jammed, and I'm like, I know I can just use a needle and fix it, but it's kind of annoying. And so I should probably do something about my plastic glue. But for now, we just have to deal with the stress marks. I'll figure out what I'm doing about stress marks at a later time. For now, we're making the legs of the Gouf. We'll be making the legs of the Gouf. Very exciting. I think like every other Gundam fan, like Gunpla fan, who also uses Twitter, has probably seen that one tweet of the guy who, like, whose setup is, like, this overhanging thing, and attached to it are a bunch of those little pulleys that are used on ID cards, and there's like a row of them, and they attach them to the runners, so the runners are above them, and you like see them pulling down with the runners and clipping the parts, and then they go back up, and it's so cool. It's so cool. It's literally like, if you've ever seen Spirited Away, the guy in the boiler room, Kamaji, like that exact setup with him and all the little bath tokens, just like poof, 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 and he's like pulling and then doing it and then releasing them and they shoot back up and they're all like hanging above him. It's exactly like that, but like with runners, and it's so sick. And I realize now, like, I could 100% do something like that in my own setup, because my runner organization is pretty terrible. My runner organization is pretty terrible. But I think that would be insane. And I think it would be hilarious. And I feel like it's very doable to just get like kind of a bar to attach across. And like a bunch of those little pulley things that I can buy for like 10 cents on AliExpress. I think this is a very doable setup for me. And I'm very much considering it. Like every other Gunpla builder that uses Twitter and saw that and is like, oh my god, I have to do that now. Me too. And I think it's cool. So maybe in the future there will be some updates to my setup, because I too saw that tweet and lost my mind. And so that's where we're at right now. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. Need the H runner. Where did the H runner go? What? Oh, here's H runner. I was like, I can't. What if I can't read, actually? What if I don't know how to read? What if that's what's happening, is that I don't know how to read? Why? Things that... But anyhow... How's everyone's... It's very rainy. At least, I feel like if you're even remotely in the Northeast, well, I don't know. At least here where I am in the New York, it's raining cats and dogs. It is terrible. I decided this morning that I'm like, because I had to fill up my car. I was like, I didn't want to do it last night because I don't trust going to a gas station at night by myself. So I was like, I'll just do it in the morning, right? And I go, and I went, well, one, I knew it was gonna rain pretty hard today, but I was like, maybe I can still try. Maybe I can still try. And when I woke up, the weather actually, well, it was still raining pretty heavily. Well, not super heavily, but it was still like decently raining, but not as crazy as I thought it would be. So I was like, we're gonna do it anyway, because, you know, the weather's bad. I bet there will be less people out and about right now. It's very rainy, it's colder. Yeah, that's what it's like here too. It's cold and it's rainy. And so yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna go. And you know what? I was wrong. There was in fact still like... Because also, right, I wanted to get... I was like, I'll get gas and I'll get like a breakfast sandwich or something. Because also, I know it is Ramadan, but our subsequent lesson on Ramadan is that if you are a person who menstruates, you are not allowed to fast while that is occurring. So that is why venturing into a little bit into the TMI zone, but that is why I'm not fasting right now, because if you are an individual who menstruates, you are not allowed to you're not allowed to fast while doing so. Um, it is like for a misogyny reason because it's like something about, you know, you are impure for having biological functions, I guess. I don't think periods are inherently bad to like talk about. We're not gonna, as long as it's not like, I feel like it's same rules as like everyone knows that this is a thing that happens to people. Just don't be weird about it. But yeah. It's considered like impure in the eyes of Islam, and thus you're not allowed to participate in Ramadan while it's occurring. And so I was like, you know what? I will. I guess I'll take advantage of it while I have it. In the sense of like, I'll take advantage of the fact that I can eat right now. And so I was like, you know what? I'll fill up some gas. I'll stop at a coffee shop that I like. One of my friends was like, oh yeah, that coffee shop in our who lives in the same town as me. It's like, oh yeah, there's like this coffee shop and there's a gas station near there that usually has really good gas prices. And I was like, let's do this. And so I was like, yeah, I'll just go get some gas and I'll get myself a nice little breakfast and like a tea or something. And then I go and I find out that I was lied to. The gas prices are not cheaper. It's actually more expensive up there. And so I had to pay like, it's like 15 cents more per gallon. I was like, what the heck? I thought it would be cheaper up here. Turns out it's not. Maybe I didn't go to the one that he was talking about. Maybe he was talking about a different gas station. But I'm like, I don't know, man. This is the gas station that's near the coffee shop. What other gas station is there? What are my other options? But either way, I was still able to get my gas. Still able to live my life. Okay, this slots it here. This guy slots it here. We are cooking. But yeah, I was thinking because the weather's bad, it wouldn't be as like poppin'. Okay, zoom out a little bit. Sorry about that. I forgot I was zoomed in pretty heavily so that because I wanted to show something off, but I should be better at like monitoring that. I used to be better at monitoring that, and then I got complacent. But it happened. Thank you for letting me know. But yeah, down a little bit. Let me know if there's anything else. Trying to highlighting a little bit. Yeah, it's very gloomy out. It's very gloomy out, so there's not exactly a lot of natural light going on right now. But so that's why these lights are up pretty high. My like artificial lights are up pretty high. I definitely do prefer using natural light over like these artificial lights because it looks a lot harsher. Just in my eyes, I feel like it looks harsher. But what can you do? It's gloomy. It's gloomy as heck. There's not really a lot of natural light, so that's simply the life we're living. But yeah, I went to the coffee shop and I was like, it can't be that busy. Like, it's in like a little plaza. It's in like a little plaza. The whole plaza's pretty nice. There's a lot of nice things in that plaza. Like a nice little. There's like a. There's a nice little bakery and like a nice little kind of like not a farmer. Well, it is kind of like a farmer's market, except it's like a permanent one. It's like a little grocery store, but all the produce is like locally sourced, which is really nice. And there's like a little like vegan store, which is pretty fun. I was gonna but yeah, I was like expecting, oh, the weather's really bad. I doubt there's going to be that many people there, right? I was wrong. That parking lot was packed. It was full of people. The coffee shop was full. I had to stand in line for like it wasn't like crazy line, but there was like a solid line of people there. Like there were no tables. They were all full. So I was planning on taking my stuff to go anyway. But I was like, man, I couldn't even sit down right now if I wanted to. It's full of people. I was not expecting to just like, I was not expecting it to be popping like that right now. But man, I guess even garbage weather is not gonna stop people. I guess even garbage weather is not gonna stop people from getting their morning coffee. And I got like, I still have a little bit left. I got like a little, got like a mango matcha latte. I still have some of it, that's why it's here. I got this like mango matcha latte that's actually really good. Makes me want to make something like this when mangoes are in season. Because obviously they just use like regular old like mango juice that you can buy from the store. Or mango puree that you buy from the store. But once mangoes are in season, I like to make my own. I mean, obviously I buy a lot of mangoes to eat because mangoes, thank God I'm not allergic to mangoes. If I was allergic to mangoes, I would actually like, it's over for me. I'm like, what's the point? No, I exaggerate, but I'm like, I would be so upset if I was allergic to mangoes because I am allergic to like really every other tree fruit. I'm allergic to like every other tree fruit, and it makes me quite sad because there are a lot of fruits that I just, you know, it's, the thing is like, it's only when they're raw, like I can't just grab and eat like apples, bananas, pears, like really any tree fruit, same thing. Some are worse than others, like I can't just eat plums. Some I'm like, kind of, like peaches I can get away with a little bit. Same with avocado, I can get away with a bit before I start like feeling the repercussions. It's not like a life-threatening allergy, even when I consume the ones that I'm like super allergic to, like apples and bananas. Like they just make me very like, my mouth and throat are very itchy and uncomfortable, and I have stomach problems. And that's kind of what happens. But if they're cooked, it's fine. Like I can eat applesauce, I can eat banana bread, as long as they're like processed in some, as long as they're like cooked in some way, I'm fine. But I've already spoken extensively to my doctor about this when I was growing up. It was kind of funny when I was like 14 or so. I went to like an allergy specialist. And they had me do like one of those allergy panels, and they just like test my blood for like every allergen possible and tell me exactly what I'm allergic to. Because my doctor already told me like it's probably something to do with like the pollen that's in the fruits. And I was like, okay. So I went to the allergy specialist and they did like an allergy panel on me, and I distinctly remember being handed like a 3-page packet of like, yeah, you're allergic to all of these plants. And I was like, okay, I guess. Yeah, to this day I still have awful pollen allergies. It's why I'm like a little bit glad about the rain, because the pollen has been ramping up just a little bit. I've been feeling it in the air, where I'm like, the pollen, it's over for me. Cannot go on like this. Well, it's not quite that bad yet. I feel like my pollen allergies are probably at their worst in like mid to late spring. Early spring, my pollen allergies are not like that bad. I don't know if it's just like a me thing, because I know a lot of people whose pollen allergies are like worse in early spring. But for me, it's like mid to late spring that's worse. Once it starts hitting like April, May is when I like can't go outside without dying. I literally like I don't even take like a lot of the regular over-the-counter stuff because it's just not effective enough. Like straight up, I just take Benadryl. I just have Benadryl. Which is like, because that's kind of one of the only things that work on me. It's rough out there. But yeah, for me personally, like, it's worse mid to late spring than it is early spring. But I still do get a little bit in the early spring. Like, I know even now, I'm like, starting to get it a little bit. I see the pollen out. I see it like collecting a little bit on things that are outside. I'm like, ugh, and I feel it. I sense it. My pollen sense is activated in the set, aka my spring allergy. But yeah, I just remember getting an allergy. Luckily, I'm not allergic to a lot of the like common allergens and whatnot. Like, it's so funny. I'm not allergic to like really any of the common allergens, like, you know, shellfish or peanuts or anything like that. I'm just allergic to like fruits and plants. And luckily none of them are life threatening, but it's just very annoying that I can't just like go and eat an apple. The worst part, I like fruit. I love fruit. I think fruit is so good. Like, I can eat citrus and I can eat berries. Like, I can go to town on like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. Like, those ones I'm pretty okay with. Though for some reason blueberries, if I eat too many of them, is when I start having problems. I don't even fully understand it myself. I'm like, I thought I was allowed to eat berries. I thought I could eat berries. I'm not really allergic to them. But sometimes when I go too crazy on the blueberries is when my allergies start showing up. I'm like, what the heck? But for the most part, yeah, I am not allergic to mangoes though. I can eat mangoes, and I would actually like, it'd be over for me if I couldn't eat mangoes. I would be so upset, but luckily I can in fact eat mangoes. And I literally, like, my mom whenever it's mango season, my mom's like, just hands me a bunch of mangoes, because obviously, like, we buy them kind of in bulk because they're in season. You could just buy like a ton of them super cheap from like Indian groceries and stuff. Here's your life hack. Never buy mangoes from American grocery stores. They're always bad. At least they're not as good as like real Indian mangoes. That's where it's at. I mean, I'm a little bit biased. Everyone has their favorite mango, and for me, I love Indian mangoes because obviously those are the ones that I grew up eating. Those are the ones that we always get from the Indian grocery, or when we go back to like Bangladesh. Those are always the ones that we get. I remember like whenever we'd visit, I remember we would like visit family in Bangladesh when I was like a kid. And as a kid, you could just go well, technically you're not supposed to, but you could just go and like climb a mango tree and just get one. You could just do that. And I remember some of the neighborhood kids, we would just like have the one kid that's like the fastest climber just grab as many as they can and then climb back down. It's one of those like random childhood memories. But I was like a little kid at the time. But those mangoes were probably the best that I've ever had. But even now, like, mangoes that we get from the Indian grocery are really, really good. And so every year once mangoes are back in season, my mom just like hands me like a bunch of mangoes, and I try and eat them, but the ones that I don't eat in time, I tend to I usually like make lassi out of them. Making your own fresh lassi out of like fresh mangoes, because you can buy mango puree from the store and make mango lassi, or you can even buy mango lassi like from the store, you know, from the Indian groceries. You could just go get like pre-made lassi, but making the lassi yourself is like unparalleled summertime activity. Truly unparalleled summertime activity is to just like process your own mangoes, make your own mango puree. Because also the other thing is when you cut up mangoes, obviously there's like the mango pit that's in the middle, and so you try and cut around it as best as you can. But one of the best parts about processing mangoes is, well, there's still a little bit of fruit left on the pit. Like, I couldn't get all of it. And so you just eat it. It involves eating a lot of mango. So I would cut it up and I would blend it until it's pureed. And I would just like, whatever fruit is left on the pit, I would stand over it's like a very important thing is that it's the middle of summer, and what I would do is I'd stand over the sink and just go absolutely feral and go to town on those mangoes, cleaning off those pits as best as I can, because I'm like, I can't waste this. Who do you think I am to like waste perfectly good mango? And so yeah, would highly recommend one, not buying mangoes from American grocery stores. Go to the Indian grocery when mangoes are in season in the summertime. Go to your local Asian grocery and they will sell you tons of mangoes for dirt cheap. Because they're in season and they can't get rid of them fast enough. Where's the cheap? Oh, I need the cheap. See, one of the things with Mr. Gouf is that there are quite a bit of runners, and the problem is that they're all the same color. they're all blue. Well, not all of them. Some of them are like, they're either like the dark gray or they're blue. And I'm like, which? Okay. I know you may think this, okay? But I can guarantee you. Yeah, I can guarantee you, like, whatever mangoes you get at the Indian grocery will be better. will be better. Because there are some things, like, I'm not gonna lie, Costco has gotten, like, really good with a lot of things, weirdly enough. At least when it comes to, like, foreign food, like, Costco kimchi is actually pretty solid. I do enjoy a good Costco kimchi, though I will always prefer my H Mart kimchi, but Costco kimchi is not bad. is not bad. Same with Costco. Weirdly enough, Costco lychee is really good. We got lychee from Costco once, and we're like, why is this so good? Why are these such good lychees? But I can guarantee you, like, mangoes at the Indian grocery are better and also cheaper. You can buy them for so much cheaper than American grocery stores. In American grocery stores, they're still considered like kind of a luxury, which is so funky to me. Which is why I like don't. I hate buying. I hate buying like foreign ingredients at American grocery stores because they're so expensive. I went to Stop and Shop once, and they were charging $10 for Kewpie mayo, and I was like, what are you people on? I was just like, man, speaking of H Mart, yesterday I suffered a great disappointment. I was like, I desperately wanted an H Mart corn dog. I also just had like errands to run at the local H Mart. I also just had like things I wanted to buy, but I desperately wanted only like 99 cents for a mango. That's still kind of like 99 cents for a mango is still kind of like, it's not bad, but again, like, you can get at the Indian grocery, you buy like a big box of mangoes for like $4 or $5 like a box of them. So I'm talking like 10 mangoes. Get like 10 mangoes. Yeah. But Connecticut actually has some really good Indian groceries. I mean, obviously I grew up there, but like I grew up there and I grew up going to the Indian groceries in Connecticut. I feel like, yeah. There's a lot of really good Indian groceries in Connecticut, and so I feel like, I don't know, I'm just so used to like going to Indian groceries that I'm just like, I forget that that's not like a thing that everyone just does. Which? Oh, it goes here. I'm kind of stupid sometimes. I was like, it was not in entirely clear where that was actually supposed to go. I was like, oh, here. One by I was close, and now Japanese groceries opening. Ooh, that's really nice. Japanese groceries are pretty nice. I think the one that my family, the Indian grocery that my family is the most loyal to is this one called Cosmos in West Hartford. Well, it's like on the border of Hartford, West Hartford. But it's on Farmington Ave. It's off of Farmington Ave. It's called Cosmos. Well, it's spelled like Cosmos, but it's pronounced like Cosmos. It's pronounced like Cosmos, and that's probably the Indian grocery that my family is the most like quote-unquote loyal to, because it's the one that we've been going to forever. I remember I used to go there when I was a little kid. My grandfather used to pick me up from elementary school, or sometimes just like in the afternoon he's like, yeah, you want to go to the grocery store with me? And we'd go to Cosmos, and he would get the groceries, and then he would also get these things called I don't remember what they're like, kind of like sesame. I think in English they're like sesame bars. They're kind of just it's kind of like a sesame. I would say the best way to describe it is like a sesame brittle. I'd say the best way to describe it is like a sesame/nut brittle, where it's like, I don't remember what the sweet component is. I think it's like some form of like honey syrup, that kind of thing, where they just like hardened into a brittle, and it's mixed with like a ton of like nuts and sesame seeds. And my grandfather would get one as a treat, and he'd share it with me, because that was his favorite dessert. That was like his favorite little treat. And I would remember, it's like one of those like foundational childhood memories of like going to Cosmos with my grandfather and always getting one of those. He's like, don't tell anyone, because he's diabetic, and so he wasn't supposed to be eating a lot of sweets, but he would always get one. And he would give me most of it, because he's like, well, I'm not supposed to be eating these, so you can have more of it. And I was so happy, because I was like a little kid, and it was just like a really nice time. But Cosmos is still open as far as I'm aware. I don't think they've been around for like a long time. They were one of the first Indian groceries that opened in Connecticut. Like, they've been around, I want to say, for like at least 30 years. Because my family has been going there like since they moved to Connecticut, which is pretty funky, which is pretty fun. And so, if you ever get the chance to go, it's a really good Indian grocery. But there's a lot more opening up these days, which is pretty fun. There's a lot more Indian groceries opening up these days around Connecticut, which is pretty fun and funky. Where did my H-runner go? Is that my H-runner? Is that H-runner my beloved? Yes, excellent. But yeah, I'm just like, it's always a better idea. I don't know, man. Maybe, is it just like a lack of knowing? Because it always like, I kind of understand the convenience factor of like buying foreign ingredients at the American grocery store, because a lot of them do tend to have some selection now. It's always really funny walking. I love going into grocery stores and looking at the international aisle and seeing what they have and how much they upcharge, because it's always like so crazy to me. I remember walking into like a Stop and Shop once and seeing they were selling Shin Ramen for like $3-4 a pop for like one packet, and I'm like, that's insanity. That's actual insanity. That's highway robbery right there. They're like charging twice the price that you would get if you were to buy it from an Asian grocery. Same thing with Kewpie mayo. I was like so like flabbergasted at the fact that they were charging $10 for a bottle of Kewpie mayonnaise, when that is $5 at H Mart. That is $5 at H Mart, and they're charging $10. That's insane. That's insane. I do kind of like understand the convenience factor, like, oh, you're already at the grocery store, especially if you're not like super familiar with using a lot of these ingredients. but I mostly cook with like foreign. It's so weird saying foreign because it's like what I've just grown up eating and doing, but I cook. I obviously like I stock what I'm used to. I tend to cook a lot of Asian food because that's what I'm used to eating. So I'm so used to having a lot of these like Asian ingredients in my house, and so I'm like, well, yeah, of course I'm gonna go to the Asian grocery to get them. Where else would I get them? Because it's so crazy, like how much American groceries upcharge for Asian goods. It's like foreign goods in general. But what's funny? Because I'm South Asian, so I grew up eating a lot of South Asian food, but I also know how to cook a lot of East Asian food, and obviously, like, I live in America. I've learned how to cook a lot of, like, American dishes, like, regular American food and stuff like that. And so the whole concept of, like, fusion food is kind of, like, funny to me, in the sense that, like, that's just cooking. For me, that's just cooking. I cook with the ingredient. I just like cook what I want with the ingredients I have, and I tend to like have a lot of South Asian ingredients and East Asian ingredients and American ingredients, and, like Western ingredients and stuff like that. And so well, I'm making steak fajitas, but I also like the taste of gochujang, so I'm just gonna add gochujang to this. And I feel like it's the kind of thing that's like, oh my god, Korean Mexican fusion food, and I'm like, well, I just have a lot of Korean ingredients, and I like them because they taste good. Same with like Indian spices and whatnot, like a lot of ingredients, I'm just like, well, I just cook this by making a curry starter. This week, I wanted to make I was making tacos for one of my friends who's gonna visit, but they don't eat meat, and so I was like, well, it's a good non-meat alternative, paneer. I also have tofu, but honestly, I prefer paneer as a meat alternative. Paneer isn't vegan; it's cheese, so it's a dairy product. But so I understand why like people would prefer tofu, but my friend is just someone who doesn't eat meat, so they're still okay with dairy. They're not like vegan. But if you like meat alternatives, but you are also okay with dairy, paneer is a great time. I love paneer. I think it's just better tofu. It is just better tofu. Because paneer is made in a similar way to like mozzarella. So the taste and texture is it's chewy. It's kind of like mozzarella, and it tastes a little bit like mozzarella, but I'd say it's a bit milder and sweeter. It's very mild. The actual flavor of paneer is very mild, but it's like a little bit sweeter than mozzarella. But the texture like is more like tofu. So because like paneer, it's chewy, but it does crumble. But it's chewy, but it does crumble. So it's got a really interesting texture that honestly I prefer paneer over tofu, because you can still eat like paneer by itself. It still tastes good. Like tofu by itself is flavorless. It's just like flavorless bean paste. Not that I dislike tofu. I still have tofu in my fridge, and I cook with tofu because it's good for what it's good for. But in terms of like meat like pound for pound, like meat alternatives, I much prefer paneer. Because one, it's more filling than tofu, because it's like, it just feels more solid, and it tastes better, because unlike tofu, it's really good at absorbing flavor, but it still has like just a little bit of its own flavor. Because paneer is delicious. And so I was like thinking, well, what can kind of simulate ground meat? And I was like, paneer is great for that. And so I was like, I wonder if I can like make like a taco mix, but with paneer. And that's exactly what I did. And I just like started cooking. I just started like a pretty standard like curry base, because that's usually how I cook paneer, is I just start like a curry base with like, onions and garlic and ginger, onions and garlic paste and ginger paste, and like, you know, garam masala, turmeric. I do it by like feeling. What are they? It's like garam masala, turmeric, cumin. You know, the curry spices that I always like using. The curry spices that I like using. And I start my little curry base, and I cook the crumbled paneer in there, and I was like, great, now I have paneer. And then I start adding like the vegetable, you know, like the taco vegetables, the bell peps, the tomato. And then I just add like adobo and taco seasoning. I'm like, what if I just do that? What if I just, because I still wanted it to taste kind of like tacos. So I just added like taco seasoning and adobo, and I was like, I hope this tastes good. I was like, I hope this tastes good. I also added a bit of Worcestershire, I don't know. Worcestershire sauce. And because I just like Worcestershire sauce. I just think it tastes good. I add it to like whenever I'm making really anything with meat or supposed to simulate meat. I add Worcestershire sauce because it just tastes good. It smells really good, and it's so instant. Like, okay, great, now something is like tastes nice and smoky and meaty, easy peasy. So I added that too, just because I thought it would be good. And you know, those were my paneer tacos, and I'm not gonna lie to you, they came out pretty good. I was like pleasantly surprised. Not that I thought it would taste bad, but I was very much kind of just like winging it, and I was like, I hope this tastes good. Of just like I hope this tastes good. So I was kind of just like mashing flavors together and hoping that it tastes good. That tends to be a lot of my cooking. Is just mashing flavors together and hoping it. Well, obviously sometimes I make like just regular, like I will just make a regular curry, or I'll make like rice, which is like a pretty standard rice, you know? But sometimes I'll just like mash flavors together and see what tastes good. Because it's more fun that way, honestly. It's more fun to do things that way. And that just tends to be how I cook. That's just like how I cook. That's just how it is. And I feel like people should be more okay with doing that. Like, just have things. Just do it. Just mash flavors together and see what happens. So maybe it's just because, like, I'm someone who enjoys cooking. I cook a lot. Like, I mostly cook food because that's just what I'm used to doing. And I am, like, I consider takeout, like, I'm like, delivery is like highway robbery. I'm like, that's so expensive. It's very much like a luxury, and I don't understand, like, being able to do that regularly. For me, like, getting delivery is a treat. It's like, every once in a while, when I'm, like, not feeling very well or something like that, I'll get delivery, but for the most part, like, I cook almost every single day. I cook almost every single day, especially Ramadan, honestly, because something about, like, during Ramadan, if you like, having leftovers for iftar just feels so depressing. Just feels really depressing. So I tend to prefer having like fresh food for iftar. So I've been cooking like basically every day. Because without Ramadan, I feel like I don't cook. Obviously, I don't cook every single day. I'll like cook something and then I'll make like a bigger batch and I'll eat it for like a few days. Is how I tend to do things as, you know, a regular working adult. As like a regular working adult, it's just more sustainable to do things that way. But during Ramadan, I feel, I don't know why, it's just so depressing to me to have like leftovers for iftar. So I try and have like fresh food as often as possible. You know what else I made this week? I made sloppy joes. I've never made sloppy joes before because I just had like a bunch of leftover ground meat because I learned how to make empanadas recently. I learned how to make empanadas. Empanadas? God, I sound so white in my pronunciation. Trying my best. But I learned how to make empanadas and they were really good. So I still had some ground meat left over. So I was just like, I still had some ground beef left over and I was just like trying to figure out like what, because I don't usually buy ground beef. I don't buy a ton of ground beef. I tend to just buy, like for me, my go-to protein to just keep in my fridge tends to be like chicken thighs or chicken breasts. I almost always just like, that's my default, is I just get like chicken. I just get chicken, like chicken chicken breast or chicken thighs. Because it's just, I don't know, man. What I like to do is I buy like a big pack and then I put them in little individual Ziploc bags. I put each chunk in like a little individual Ziploc bag. And so that's just what I do. And so like whenever I'm cooking, I just like grab one because usually I'm one person. I rarely need more than one piece of chicken. And so, it's just easier that way. Instead of having to, like, defrost a whole thing every single time. Because it's also, like, better for the chicken to not defrost and refreeze it several times before using it. TGC cooking stream when? Someday. Honestly, I would, like, do it. I would do it. If given the opportunity, I would 100% do it. I will set up my camera in my kitchen and I will be cooking and I will teach. I don't know how well I can teach how to cook. I mean, I've taught my brothers how to cook quite a bit. I've taught my brothers how to cook and bake. So I think I could do it. But maybe one of these days we'll have a cooking stream because I think that'll be fun. I remember last year I was thinking about doing it for April Fools, but then I just like, I don't know, I was so busy, I just like didn't plan anything ahead of time, and I was like, no, I probably would have, like, this would have been something planned, like, much farther ahead of time, and I just didn't do that, but it happens, you know? Is that? No, that's not the D runner. Where's D runner? Where's D runner? It's in here. I know it's one of those that I have two of. There's G and H. But yeah, I just had a bunch of ground beef and I was like, what do I do with this ground beef? I was just like, what do I do with this ground beef? And so I was literally just like looking online of like recipes with ground beef. And I saw like a recipe for sloppy joes because I've never like made them before. And I was looking at it and I was like, I have all of these ingredients. I could just make this. And so I did. And they came out really good actually. I was very happy. I even made my own coleslaw. It was really tasty. I had a great time. And I made sloppy joes for the first time. It was a pretty, like, basic recipe. You know what's funny? For the most part, I was like, okay, I'll just follow this recipe I found on the internet. And then I was like, you know, cooking it, I was like tasting it a little bit to see how it tasted. Because this is like, this is after iftar. I started it a little bit late. I started them a little bit late. And so it was still like, I didn't finish them until a little bit after iftar. And so I was like, I tasted it and I was like, it's not bad, but it could just use like more everything. Because I followed the recipe up to that point. I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. This could just use a little bit more of flavor. And so I just like went to town and just like added nearly double of like all the ingredients. I was kind of just, once again, I was winging it. I was eyeballing it. I was like, I'm just gonna add more of just about everything and see what happens. And that's exactly what I did. And you know what happened? It tasted way better. I was like, now we're cooking. And I just think it's so funny. This is why I don't follow a lot of this is why I don't listen, this is gonna sound really bad for a second, but this is why whenever you see a recipe on the internet by a white person, whatever seasonings that they tell you to put, double it. Just double it. It'll always be better. There's no such thing. This is me as a South Asian. There's no such thing as too much seasoning. There's no such thing as too much flavor and too much seasoning. And so just whatever they tell you to put, double it, and I guarantee you it will taste better. It will simply just taste better. No worries if it's a hassle to set up. No, man. Honestly, I think it would be fun. Like, I think I have a pretty decently sized, considering, like, my apartment, I actually do have a pretty decently sized kitchen. And I feel like it is pretty doable for me to like set up like set up my camera in the kitchen. I think it's pretty doable. And I'm very much like, it's something that I want to try at some point. Like, I think it would be fun. Because I like doing model kit, I like streaming model kits because I like doing model kits. But I think it'd be fun to try, like, because I also enjoy cooking. I like cooking. I don't really know what I would make on stream, but I would make something. Maybe I would make like omelet rice. Omelet rice is one of those things that's just like a go-to comfort food for me that I make from time to time that I would say I'm pretty good at and can make very quickly and easily. Or maybe, honestly, I feel like even baking might be an option, because I do also like baking. I do bake quite often. I literally made, I was like, another thing that I've experienced recently is I've learned what cookie butter is, and personally, I think it should be illegal, because it's really good, and I can't stop eating it. I was like, you mean they just, like, have a spreadable form of Biscoff cookie? That's insanity. That should be illegal. It's crazy. I'm like, I mean, I can just, like, this, and I can just mix it into things, or put it on things. I'm like, in my brain, I'm like going crazy at my options, because I can do so much with cookie butter now. Now that I have a jar of cookie butter, granted, I don't eat it all before I can do stuff with it. So I ended up making these, like, I bought it because I wanted to make these, like, cookie butter cookies. I know cookie butter cookies are just Biscoffs, which is kind of funny because I have Biscoff cookies. I usually, like, just have Biscoff cookies because they're really good and they're like a nice little tea cookie. But they're like so optimized for tea, it's not even funny. I love Biscoff cookies. And so I'm like, I want to try making these, like, Biscoff, they're like cookie butter chocolate chip cookies, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. Let's just see what happens. Let's just do this. And so I made my little Biscoff chocolate chip cookies, though I was a little bit disappointed at how little the Biscoff flavor came through once they were baked. I was like, this kind of just tastes like a regular chocolate chip cookie with, like, just a hint of like ginger. With the slightest hint of ginger. Because the Biscoff flavor mostly, I think if I'm correct, mostly comes from, like, ginger and allspice. And I think a bit of cinnamon. It's like a bunch of spices. They have their own, like, proprietary spice blend that is the Biscoff cookie taste. Which is really good. Like, it's insane. That is crack in a jar. I cannot believe that they're just allowed to sell cookie butter. Because it's insane. I'm like, it's so good. Like, I can't stop. I didn't know that it, like, existed until a week ago. I literally, like, didn't know it existed until a week ago. I'm like, how did I live my life like this? Well, if anything, it's probably better. I lived my life not knowing this existed, or else I would literally eat nothing but Biscoff cookie butter. But now that I do know, oh, there it is. Now that I do know that Biscoff cookie butter exists, like, I feel like the world is my oyster now. One morning for suhoor, I woke up and I toasted a piece of bread and I was like, I wonder if I could just use this like jam or Nutella or something. Cause like, I'm okay with Nutella. I think Nutella is decent. I don't think it's worth how much you have to pay for it, cause I think it's good, but it's like, I went to an Italian grocery store a few times and I bought like Italian hazelnut spread, and I can literally like never go back to Nutella now. Because like actual hazelnut spread is so good. It's so good, it's crazy. And now I eat Nutella and I'm like, this just tastes like chocolate. Where's the hazelnut? I want more hazelnut. But I was like, this is crazy. But I do enjoy Nutella, and so I was like, I bet I could just put this on bread. I bet I could just put this on bread like jam or Nutella. And so I had a piece of, oh, this is supposed to go last. I had a piece of bread with just cookie butter spread on it, and I was like, I lost my mind to bribe. Okay, yeah. Listen, I kind of am that easy. I kind of am that easy. I'm like, if bribed with cookie butter, I'm like, yeah, well, you know the joke about like white people and cheese? Now that's me and cookie butter. Honestly, I feel like cheese would kind of work on me too. I'm also a fan of cheese. I'm so glad that I'm not lactose intolerant. I actually like, I tend to consume like I use a lot of like dairy alternatives because I have a lot of friends who are lactose intolerant or have like reasons that they can't consume dairy products and whatnot. And so I'm used to like, and also like, it's just, I feel like it's just better for your digestion to not consume a ton of dairy. I'm not one of those people that's like, dairy is evil and bad. I don't think dairy is evil and bad. Oh, sorry. No. This is in fact a Gundam stream. The current problem I'm having is this little piece that is, I'm gonna zoom in a little. I'm gonna zoom in so we can see better what I'm actually doing. My current predicament is this piece, you can kind of see it here, is kind of just like, I don't know if you can actually see it because I just shook it really fast, but it's very loose. And I feel like it's not, it's like tight and loose at the same time. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's not like it's coming out easily. Like, it's in there. It's very in there. So it's pretty snug, but the problem is that it like moves around a lot, and I don't really know if there's a way to fix this. I don't know if it's supposed to be like this. I don't know what's going on, but it is kind of just like that, and I'm hoping that it's supposed to be like that because there might be other things, because there's other things that connects to it. So I'm just gonna trust, and I'm just gonna hope. I think we're building the feet right now. I think that's what we're doing, is we're building feet. But I'm just gonna hope that I'm doing this correctly. It looks like a piston. Yeah. I think that's absolutely what this is. It's a little piston, which reminds me a little bit of the RX-78 Mark II Master Grade, because that one's probably my favorite Master Grade. Is the RX-78, the Mark II Master Grade, the V2, is such a nice Master Grade. It's such a good Master Grade. It's such a fun build. One of the things I love about it is that you get these little like chrome colored pistons that you have to like put together yourself, and you see that detail, and I think it's so cool. I really love how that kit came together. It's probably to this day still my favorite Master Grade, is that RX-78 Mark II. Because I just really love how it's such a like random detail that I got really attached to. But I really love that, like, because it was also like, it was chrome colored. Like the piece itself, I didn't have to paint it or anything. Like it came like that. And I thought that was really cool that you were like had to put together these little pistons for the joints, for a bunch of the joints. And it was really nice. And I was like, this is such a cool little process. And even now, like on the Mark II, depending on how I literally pose it right now. I have my Mark II posed in a way that you can see the pistons. Because if he's just standing straight, you can't really see the pistons that much. But like when he's like moving, when he's like schmoving, you can see those pistons. And I have him posed in a way that you can see them. And I think it's really fun that you do that. And it makes a lot of sense that this guy has them too, but it's not quite the same because they're not like colored, but I do like that they're not. It makes sense. I might paint these later. That's also an option, is I could probably paint this piece at a later time. I never built MG, so this is new to me as well. No worries. It's new to me. Input is appreciated because I kind of like knowing how people interpret certain things, because how I interpret something is probably different from how someone else interprets something. So I appreciate all input, even if it's like, you heard that they're making Archie Granddad Gundam 2.0? Ooh, that's cool. Archie Granddad Gundam. I love that. That's pretty sick. You know, today's like a rainy day. You know what's funny? I have there's like a solid 3 boxes in my backlog that are just like taking up space in my backlog that are kits that are mostly finished, but I just have to do like the finishing stuff to it. I just have to do like the finishing work to it, and one of them is RG Hainu that I built on stream. One of them is RG Hainu, and I'm so bad at things. There's like 3 or 4. No, I would say it's 3. It's 3 boxes in this stack that literally all I have to do is like do the finishing work, like do like posing it, building the weapons, the panel lining, this like sometimes top coating, depending on how I feel. Like I just have to do that, and then I'm done, and I can display it, and it'll be nice and pretty, and it's a box that's no longer taking up space in my backlog zone. And you know what? Today's a rainy day. It might be time, because I'm so like, it's so bad. I'm like, well, what if I just start a new kit instead? What if I just start something new instead? I have a few on here that are also like partially built. I have a few on this stack that are also like in here because they're partially built. My Megami Device Girl is one of them. I started her. I got like a decent way into her, and I just haven't finished it because I just like keep starting things. I just keep doing things. Well, she's a little bit different because she's not a stream. I don't do her on stream. But for the most part, like, there's a couple of those kits that stream is definitely like one of my motivations to keep going with kits, or else I'll just like start and stop. It's so bad. Because I do the same thing with video games. I do the exact same thing with video games where I start and I stop, and I'm like, you cannot be doing that. This is the G-Runner. I don't need that. I'm like, you cannot be doing that. Because what ends up happening is, okay, I got back into Armored Core, right? I've been playing Armored Core. I've been stuck on Balteus, so don't talk to me about Balteus. Don't talk to me about Armored Core. I got stuck on Balteus. I'm trying my best. But then the Stardew update just dropped, okay? Stardew 1.6 dropped this week. And now my life is playing Stardew Valley. So now my life is playing Stardew Valley. I spent like a solid chunk of time. One, I had to troubleshoot. I played like Stardew like modded to heck. I mod the heck out of my Stardew because I just feel like it's more fun. And also, I'm so spoiled by a lot of quality of life mods. I'm so spoiled by a lot of those quality of life mods that I like can't live without them. It's like, you know, I decided like for the update content, I turned off all of my mods that like affect story and like the game itself. So right now, I decided I was only gonna keep my like quality of life mods because those don't like really affect story and interfere with like probably some of the stuff that is happening in the update. Finish Megami Device kits and finish your anime essays. Yeah. Honestly, that might be a might be a personal channel thing. Because funny enough, like I I really should like do that. I think that's like a fun video. I might be doing that this week. You know, I might be doing that later this week actually. Just something on like personal building Megami Device and also talking about anime because having my like end of season breakdown because this season of anime is probably the first season that I'm like the first time in a while like for the past I would say like last season was really when I started getting back into it, but it's more so this season that I just started like watching anime seasonally for real again because I've been off the horse for a long time. I used to be like religiously watching anime seasonally, but then I just got really busy by having a life, unfortunately. And I have, you know what? I watched several shows this season, and they're all ending. So I have thoughts and opinions. I have thoughts and feelings. So that might be something I do later this week. Who knows? But shall see. Shall see. But for right now, it's Gouf time. Right now, though, it's Gouf time. Oh, what did I do? Did I break something? No, I didn't. We're good. I thought I broke something, but then I didn't. Love that. Love that for me. But that might be a thing that happens. I'll see. I'll see. See, this is way more solid. This part feels way more solid in there. This is not like... It's moving a little bit, but not quite as much. Versus this guy is just like... This is going everywhere. This guy is going around town and going everywhere. So I'm like... You know what? It connects to something later. I'm gonna hope that it's fine. I'm just gonna hope that it's fine, and if it gives me problems later, I deal with that later. By later, I mean like probably 15 minutes from now. But that's still later. But anyhow, I swear to God, I spent like at least a solid 2 hours just like probably more than 2 hours, honestly. Just troubleshooting my mods because the update, see, this one keeps like, this one over here keeps like, I don't know how to explain. See, this keeps like tilting forward. See, this guy like tilts forward. But this one doesn't. This one is good. This one is like nice and solid. You see, this one's not like wiggling everywhere. Meanwhile, this one cannot stop wiggling, and so I'm just gonna hope that it's not a problem. But anyhow, I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley. I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley. This time, I've decided, I think so I'm a completionist. I'm one, a dating sim fan, and two, you know, this might be unexpected, but I'm a big fan of visual novels and dating sim games. I play like a lot of otome games and dating sims because I just think they're fun. I just think they're neat, okay? Sue me. I like dating sims. I like romancing pretty anime characters. Like, let me live. And so I also play Stardew with like otome brain, with dating sim brain of like, I'm a completionist. I want to play every route and see and like, there's a lot of otome and like dating sim games. You're meant to play like every route so that you can get like the real route or whatever. A lot of these games assume that you're playing every route. And so that's how I view Stardew, is I'm like, well, I just have to play every route then and see what happens. And see like what the story's like, because I just want to know. And so the only Stardew routes that I haven't finished are Maru and Elliot, because Maru, okay, I don't think I'll ever finish Maru. I don't think I'll ever finish Maru because, okay, Maru reminds me too much of myself. She's too similar to me that it freaks me out. So I can't romance Maru. I'm sorry, Maru. I can't do it. It's not your fault. But it's she's too similar to me. I can't do that. And Elliot, I never finished Elliot's route because I think I originally started Elliot's. I've started Elliot's route, but I did it in like a multiplayer farm that was long abandoned, like a long abandoned multiplayer farm. So that's why I never finished Elliot's route. But I've done everyone else's, and I like everyone else's. You know what's fun? Can you? I wonder if you guys can try and guess who my first Stardew spouse was. Um, Slash my favorite, because obviously like the first route I did was my favorite. That was like my first Stardew playthrough was just like based off purely on like who I wanted to romance without like thinking about routes. So I wonder who you guys would think that I would go for in Stardew. I guess I've spoiled it a little bit. It's not Maru or Elliot. Nah, I've spoiled it a little bit. It's neither Maru nor Elliot. But I wonder, out of the other candidates, I wonder if you guys... Because I feel like out of my friends, people either like clock it immediately or are surprised by who it is. I don't understand. Hello, hello. Yeah, I wonder if you could guess, like, if you're familiar. Oh yeah, if you're familiar with the Stardew, if you've ever played Stardew and are familiar with the characters. I heard good things about Stardew. It reminds me that I have to make time to play it and finish Rune. Me too, honestly. I still haven't finished Rune Factory 4. I love Rune Factory though. Rune Factory is really good. I still need to play the newest Rune Factory though. I haven't played the newest one, which I believe is 6. 6? Or is it 5? Which one? It got local. I say recently, it was like 6 months ago. It was like 6 months ago that it got localized. It came out in the West. I want to say it's like 6. But it might be 5. It might be 5. I don't recall. But there is a newest Rune Factory that I have not played. And I'm a Rune Factory fan. I'm also a big Stardew fan. Stardew's great. If you haven't played it, I would highly recommend it. Honestly, I would recommend playing it vanilla first and then modding it, because modding it ruins, like, you can never go back to, once you start modding it, you cannot go back to vanilla Stardew. I just can't do it now. It's so bad. I just cannot go back now. But Rune Factory is also really good. But yeah. Okay. I don't know why. I feel like a lot of people assume that my favorite route in Stardew is Sebastian, which I can understand why, because I feel like he's very much just like a fan favorite. I think him and Abigail are probably the two that I think everyone goes for, because they're good. They're both really good routes. They're gamers. They're both gamers. So obviously they're both gamers and they're both goth. Well, they're not both goth, but like everyone likes them for good reason, because they're good. But my first Stardew playthrough was Shane. He's still my favorite route to this day. And I have some friends that clock it. The first bachelorette you chose for Stardew must have been Linus or Lewis. Yeah. No. Linus and Lewis are not people you can romance in the game. Alex? Oh my god. Wait. Was Alex your favorite, or is that who you're guessing for me? I'm wondering. I do like Alex's route though. Alex's route isn't bad. No offense to Alex. He's very much like vibes of Peaked in High School, but like I like that that's what his route is about. I like that that's what his route is about, and he actually is like a more interesting character than he comes off, than you kind of initially think of him as. But okay, yeah, Alex, you're valid. You're valid. I do like Alex. No, my favorite's Shane. I love Shane. Listen. He's just like a really good. It's just I really love his arc. I really love his arc over the course of his route because I feel like he's the character that I think like goes through the most. His route is better if you are a guy. Oh, okay, that's fair. Because I always default to girl farmer. I've always defaulted to girl farmer. That's pretty cool though. That's good to know. Good to know. You know what? That might be another thing to try, is to try different routes as like, because I've only ever played as a girl farmer, but I wonder if the routes change if you play as guy farmer. I wonder. I'm still on my first ever playthrough. That's crazy. I'm someone who has like 400 plus hours in Stardew Valley, so I cannot say anything. I feel like I play Stardew in like bursts. Kind of like Animal Crossing, I played in bursts, where every once in a while, I will just like I will just like, you know what? I'll be reminded of Stardew Valley and I'll just play it nonstop for like 2 weeks. I'll play it like literally nonstop for 2 weeks and I'll finish like a whole playthrough. Not a whole playthrough, I feel like there's no such thing as like a whole playthrough, but I'll get really far in the game. I'll reach like either endgame or close to endgame. Because right now endgame is all the way to like island. You get like island and the secret woods and all of that stuff. I get pretty close to there. Alex wasn't what I expected to end up choosing, but my little nerd looking farmer ended up getting shipped with the jock. That's so cute. That's so cute. I also love Stardew because I don't know, it's so like it's like peak escapist fantasy. It's very like peak escapist fantasy, which I love. As someone, it's especially poignant now that I'm like, man, I do be working that 9 to 5. I am working that 9 to 5. Even before, when I was like still just like a student, or just a student and working at the same time. Something about like, I don't know, it's very relevant to anyone. Just like sometimes you just want to be freed from the shackles of society and be a farmer. I know it's controversial, but my favorite part of the game was the actual farming part. I literally like devoted so much time to just being a farmer. I love growing my crops. Like that was my favorite part. That still is my favorite part of the game. I just sit there and I grow my crops. And I'm a farmer and I like hanging out with people because I'm like, I am now freed from my shackles of capitalism. To show you my little guy. Oh, I would love to. I would love to see your little guy. Like I said, I mod the heck out of my Stardew. So I use a bunch of like custom hairstyle and clothing mods because I just think it's more fun to play. Because also, I like dress-up games, okay? I use a lot of like hairstyle and clothing mods that just make things more fun. But yeah, I'm not changing. I'm keeping a lot of my, I still have a lot of my quality of life mods because I consider that quality of life. I'm so sad. My favorite portrait mod is still broken. Same with my favorite, you know, it was rough. My favorite Recolor mod is broken right now. Okay, excellent. Yeah. My favorite Recolor mod is broken right now, and so I booted up the game and I am always like jump scared by how saturated like regular Stardew is. I'm like, oh man, this game is saturated. Wow. Oh, I was supposed to put that in first. I was like chests everywhere is a must. Really? Funny enough, a lot of my mods, I don't play a lot of the mods that like, oh wait, I can still just do, wow, and now I can just put, like chests everywhere is a must. That's kind of crazy. I never played with chests everywhere. But I do, man. I'm thinking probably one of my favorite like quality of life mods is Look Up Anything, where you can just press F1 and it gives you all the information on like any plant or NPC or literally anything. Shoot, I need to update the mods folder because yeah, no, I had to spend like a solid few hours just like troubleshooting and figuring out like, because some of my mods that were out of date now, a lot of them like don't have updates out yet. A lot of them don't have updates released yet because they are because the update like just came out this week and modders are people and modders are people. And so a bunch of it is just like, the heck? Yeah. Sorry, I was checking something. What the heck? I'm gonna put that over there. Okay. And yeah, update the mods folder. I just spent a few hours just like troubleshooting my mods because a bunch of them were like breaking things. Yeah, Smappy. Yeah, Smappy has an. Yeah, Smappy General has an update. Oh yeah, 100%. Like a lot of the mods that I use already have been updated, which is really nice because a lot of modders had access to the alpha, the alpha version of 1.6 before it was actually released. So a lot of them had like their mods already updated on the 1.6 release, including Smappy. Like that was updated on release because they had access to the alpha version of the update so that they could like preemptively update Smappy. Same with like a bunch of the bigger mods and whatnot, had access to the alpha version of the update so that they could like update it on release. But a bunch of them still don't. A bunch of mods that I use still don't have updated versions. And so I just had to like basically go through all of them one by one. One, I updated all the ones that have updates. And also I basically had to go through one by one and figure out like which mods are breaking my game right now, / which ones don't work. It's been proven that the maker also uses yeah, exactly. Like Concerned Ape is very, very kind to the modding community. How's that controversial? Wasn't the whole point of Stardew being we are going to make our own Harvest Moon rune factory for the Western audience? Yeah. I don't think it's controversial. I think it like mods are, it depends on like the game, but personally I think mods are really normal. Like I don't know, I still consider like Stardew kind of its own thing separate from like, it is similar to like Harvest Moon and Rune Factory, but I still think Stardew is unique enough that it stands on its own. I love Rune Factory, but Rune Factory is very different from Stardew. Rune Factory is still very like JRPG flavored. I love Rune Factory. It is still very JRPG flavored, except you are also a farmer, and I love that for Rune Factory. Harvest Moon leans a bit more on the farming thing. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't. My hot take, okay? My hot take for today's stream is that I like Rune Factory more than Harvest Moon, okay? I like Rune Factory more than Harvest Moon. I know Harvest Moon is the one that everyone loves, that like is the one that everyone knows because it's Harvest Moon. But personally, I like Rune Factory better because I like the story of Rune Factory better and I like the art of Rune Factory better because I just think it's a better game, okay? So I will agree that the farming aspect of Harvest Moon is better than Rune Factories because Rune Factories is like can be kind of not that good sometimes. One of the things that's kind of confusing about this is that I kind of forget sometimes which pieces I need to build twice. I know I'm literally making the feat right now. I have to make 2 of them. I have to end up with both of them. But one of the things about how the runners in... It's not just this kit, like I feel like this happens in a lot of kits, but on the pieces that are like ×2, sometimes you have 2 of the same runner, and sometimes both pieces are on the same runner, and it gets a little bit confusing sometimes, so I kind of forget, like, wait, which pieces did I cut out and which pieces have I not cut out? I don't recall. And so now I'm like, wait, did I... why am I even holding the G runner? I don't even need the G runner right now. I need the A runner. This guy. So sometimes... I think this is... It's not even just, like, unique to this kit. This happens to me all the time. Where I, like... I think it's less of a kit fault and more of a me fault, where I just don't remember which pieces I've cut out and which pieces I haven't. I try really hard to keep them separate, because if I don't, it is terrible. That's how I messed up when I was making RG Banshee Norn. I think I made the same mistake when I was doing RG Unicorn too. When I was building Banshee Norn, I distinctly remember accidentally, like, when I was making the legs, I just cut out most of the leg. Truly, I don't understand people that can cut out every single piece of this, like, cut out all the pieces preemptively. Like, I can't do that. I cannot do that. I will get confused. I will forget. Because even when I was just building the legs and I cut out, like, all... Because I had to make, like, 2 of something, or, like, mirror them. And so I just cut them all out at the same time, and I literally, like, accidentally swapped a couple of those pieces. I swapped those pieces, and it was someone on stream who pointed out that I swapped the pieces. And I was like, oh shoot, I did swap those pieces. And it would have been, if that person didn't point out that I swapped those bits, it would have been very annoying later when I was doing the transformation stuff. So, shout out to whoever did that, thank you. But that is a thing that happened. And which is why I have to be very careful when I'm building things that require, like, build 2 of this, or, like, are mirrored and stuff like that. Like, I cannot cut out all the pieces at once. And just in general, that's why I still keep everything in the runners. If you're someone who can, like, cut out all the pieces and know what everything is and know where they, like keep track of where all the little pieces are, like, props to you. But I'm not one of those people. I, like, have to have it. I have to cut out the pieces as I need them, or else I will lose track of them, I'll forget, I'll get them mixed up. Like, it's not a skill that I have. Oh wait, I need the other. Oh, I'll probably need to show you my little nerd guide later. It's going to take me a second to update all my mods. Yeah, I had to do the same thing. It took me like a minute to update all of my mods, update the ones that could be updated, and then also, like, fix the ones that are broke, like, get rid of the ones that are currently broken. I'm really sad. Currently, my favorite Recolor mod and my favorite Sprite mod are broken. I'm very sad about it. Rest in peace. It's literally like, I can't play without Recolor mods. It's so bad. So bad. I love you, Concerned Ape. You make a very good game, and I respect it. But Stardew Valley is so saturated. I need my earthy recolor. I need my earthy recolor. Same thing, I also use a UI recolor. I use Vintage Interface, which just makes the interface more of like an off-white than like a saturated yellow. Than like yellow-brown. Just looks nicer. And my favorite portrait mod, which is Diverse Stardew Valley. Diverse Stardew Valley, banger mod. The reason why I started using it in the first place was the seasonal outfits, which is probably like, I think seasonal outfits are being incorporated into like vanilla Stardew, which is really nice. It's just like it seems like a small detail, but it's such a big like quality of life change, because it just makes everything feel so much nicer to see all the characters like change outfits based off the season and the occasion. Rather than, like, because usually in Stardew, like, everyone just has the same sprite all the time. But you can mod in, like... seasonal outfits so that... What seasonal outfits does is it gives everyone different outfits depending on the season, the weather, and the holiday. Like, they had holiday outfits and seasonal outfits and weather. Like, when it's raining, they all had little raincoats, and it was really cute. And it was folded into... It's made by the person, I believe, the same team who made Diverse Stardew Valley, so it's kind of folded in. And honestly, Diverse Stardew Valley is also my favorite portrait mod, like character redesign mod, because I like a lot of the portrait mods. Like, there's some really nice portrait mods out there. But personally, like, I like that Diverse Stardew Valley, like, still tries to maintain the original art style. There's a lot of really talented artists out there that make really cool portrait mods, but I do like the style of Stardew Valley. I like the art style, like Concerned Apes, like original art style, like pixel art style. I like it and I think it's cool. And I like that Diverse Stardew Valley like tries to maintain that. I like that Diverse Stardew Valley like tries to maintain the original art style. But kind of is just like a bit more refined, and also like changes the character appearances, which is really cool. I like a lot of the character redesigns. Like, I love, you know, that I love that in the redesign, like, Maru just like give her curly hair. You can also like toggle which ones you want, which ones you don't. Like, there are some little things that just like I think feel better and make more sense, and I just like some of the updated character appearances. Like, in Diverse Stardew Valley, like, Abigail, it's you literally like have a toggle, like, make Abigail more goth, so that she has like ombre hair, she has like darker hair and like black lipstick, and she's more goth, which is great. Yeah, but right now it's not updated yet, so I have to play without it for now, and I'm like, my Diverse Stardew Valley. The other thing is that I think vanilla Stardew like has added like seasonal outfits, but they haven't updated weather-based outfits, because in the mod they have different outfits for the weather, but in vanilla Stardew they still don't, and it makes me sad. I miss my Diverse Stardew Valley. Smappy's updated. Excellent. Yeah, I had to go and I had to like disable a bunch of my broken mods, because there's ones that affect buildings and recolors and whatnot that just aren't updated and have decided to break when I open the game. And a lot of, man, all of my custom crop mods like don't work now. It's really sad. Rest in peace, my custom crop mods. But I'm okay with playing with a lot of the regular crops. Feet. Behold. Feet. Well, the feet's not done yet. I still have more feet to feet. I still have more feet to foot. More afoot? Is that the phrase? There are more things afoot? Is that what's happening? Excellent. Excellent. I just needed it enough so that I can load the camera and take a screenshot. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. I would love to see your little guy. I would love to see your little guy. You must defeat the feet. I must defeat. Yeah, honestly, I do kind of have to defeat these feet, because they are kind of a pain to build right now. Seven? Eight? Oh, no, this is G. Okay, I was like, that's a finger joint. Not the piece that I need right. That is not the piece that I need right now. Sent it? Let me see. See your guy. Let's see your little guy. Whoa! Cute. I love your little nerd guy. Perhaps later I'll send you a screenshot of my... Yeah. Perhaps, because I know I'll be playing Stardew Valley today. I know who I am. I know I'll be playing Stardew later. ASMR of my beverage. Doesn't he look like he's running from the law for tax evasion? Doesn't he look like, yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. I agree. Already. See, I have such, no, I didn't punch out this piece yet. That's his made up backstory, yeah. Honestly, I like the regular story. I like the idea that my farmer is just like, got fed up of the corporate life and is like, I'm going to go be a farmer now. Of like being crushed by the capitalist spirit. Because, you know, it sucks. I love the running from running from the law for tax evasion. That's so funny. My farmer is just, she got tired of the old corporate life and is like, I've had enough. I gotta go now. And it's just like, yeah. I also just like hanging out and talking to the other villagers and whatnot. Like, that's one of the things that I really love about Stardew, is that like, I really do like all of the NPCs and what they're, and like that they have their own stories and arcs and whatnot, which is pretty fun and funky. I would say my favorite like NPC though is Evelyn. I love the like little old lady that just plants her flowers. She's my favorite NPC. She's just like the little old lady and her flowers. I love her. Like, I feel like Evelyn is going to be me in 40 years. Like, that's just going to be me. We need to play together on multiplayer. I would, but we may have, like, I mod Stardew. Well, actually, as long as we don't use, like, story mods, I think we should be okay. And custom crops are broken now anyway. Honestly, I like playing on multiplayer farms because, like, the part of the game that I care the most about is the farming part. And a lot of people tend to prefer, like, fishing or, like, exploring the mines and doing stuff like that. Alex and his grandparents love me. Aww. Yeah, I do like Alex too. It's really cute. But Evelyn's my favorite NPC. She's just the best. She's just like a nice old lady who likes flowers. As long as I download the same, yeah. Honestly, yeah, as long as we use the same mods, we're fine. Even if we, like, even a lot of, like, the more benign ones, like Recolors and whatnot, it doesn't matter. But that would be fun, perhaps. Right now, I'm still on my I still want to go through my current playthrough. Okay, excellent. I love the farming part. The farming part is the best. Like, it's Stardew Valley. It's a farming simulator. I want to farm. People that are like, oh, I ignore a lot of the crops. I'm like, well, it's a farming game. I like farming. Though right now I'm playing on the Meadowlands farm. So it's more about animal rearing, which is pretty fun and funky. Which is insane, honestly. The Meadowlands farm is kind of insane. Because you just get like instead of you start with parsnip seeds or whatever, you get 2 chickens from the jump. Which is crazy. That it's like, in terms of value, you get a whole coop. You get a coop at the beginning of the game. And you get 2 chickens, which are worth way more than the 15 parsnips that you usually get at the beginning of the game, which is insanity to me. But the Meadowlands farm is really cute, and I like it. And I like that I have my chickens. I like that I have my little chickens. This goes here. Time to build what feels like a Rube Goldberg machine of parts. This is funky. Up. Wait, what direction does this go? Yeah, this really kind of does feel like a Rube Goldberg, but of parts. Figuring out which direction does this actually go? This way, I believe. Heck. There we go. My Rube Goldberg. That's a terrible. Why did I say that? I take everything. Pretend I didn't say that. No! I'm doing base farm. I started knowing basically nothing, and I've gotten obsessed with finishing the community center. Within the first year, it's probably going to take me until the end of next spring. I'm missing some 5-star crops. Yeah. I always do the one thing that I've never done is I've never done Joja. I've never done that one. I've never done the Joja route. No! I did something wrong. My Rube Footberg didn't work out. Oh shit. Now this piece came out. Okay. But the thing that I do like about this though is that it's kind of complicated and annoying, but it's like it's kind of like a puzzle. I like it, even though it is annoying me. It's kind of like a puzzle, and yeah, there we go, the little pistons. Now this is fun. I am a little bit sad that they're not painted, that they're not like chrome colored, kind of like in the Mark II. Like, cause in the Mark II, we're gonna zoom in a little bit, but in the Mark II, these little focus. Come on, camera. You really want to look at. Oh no. There we go. Excellent. In the Mark II, these little piston bits over here are chrome, are like silver, chrome colored. Same with these little pistons back here are chrome colored on the Mark II, like in just from the jump, like in the kit, which is really nice. Like you don't have to paint it or anything, which is very nice. But on the Gouf, I might paint them myself. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I feel like painting them myself. Because they are also like, I would probably have to drill some of these openings so that it fits once they're painted, which might be annoying, but we'll see what I feel like doing. But otherwise, I think this was fun to put together though. This was very fun to put together though. That's the thing I like about a lot of these like master grades, is that a lot of care is put into like build feel, because build feel is different. Like the build feel of these guys is very unique, and I like that. I like that it feels kind of like more like a puzzle and more like you're actually putting together a robot. It's very funky. Very cool. I do like it. What? Oh, 31. I'm stupid. Don't worry. I'm missing. Oh, I also got an owl. What the heck? Sick. What? Oh, that was close. I almost dropped it. I say that. I was like, wow, that was close. I almost dropped a whole runner. And then I proceeded to drop a whole runner. But luckily, it's the runner I don't need right now. It's fine. I just dropped the A runner. I'll pick it up when I need. it. We're still on the feet. We're still on. The owl needs a name. Owl. My default is I always name things after like stars and constellations, because it's just like there's so many good like star names out there. Like there's so many stars out there that have cool names that you can kind of never run out of like cool thematic names. If you're ever in like a TTRPG campaign with me, and you notice a lot of the NPCs, if you know anything about astronomy, and you notice a lot of the NPCs are named after stars, don't say anything. The stone owl thing, that's rare in the game. Yeah, the stone owl, that's really cool. I think I've had a playthrough where I got the stone owl, but I think I've only had like one playthrough out of my several playthroughs that I got the stone owl for, which is so cool. There's 7. There it is. But and what was I talking about? What on earth was I talking about? But I do like the build this guy, so I'm a little bit sad that the Pistons aren't. Not plated, but like chrome color. Because they are on the Mark II. But the way this comes together is still pretty different. I'm even though it annoyed me at first, the Rube Goldberg feet are kind of interesting. I don't know what it was. My first playthrough, although I feel like it was really lucky for me to get it. Yeah, definitely. I didn't get it on my first playthrough. I got it on one of my subsequent playthroughs. I don't remember which one. I did get it in one of my playthroughs. Played the game like multiple times. One of my I think my favorite, because I do enjoy like role playing, okay? I love playing this as an RPG, okay? And in one of my playthroughs, okay, I got a mod that turns the wizard into, that's like I used a completely separate portrait mod that makes the wizard like a hot anime boy, because I love I love Howl's Moving Castle. Important context to note is that my favorite Ghibli movie is Howl's Moving Castle, because I love Howl's Moving Castle. And so, because I watched Howl's Moving Castle at such a young age, that I irreversibly love hot wizards. Like, come on, can't go wrong. So I found a mod that just basically makes the wizard a beautiful anime boy, and I was like, yeah. And then I got a separate mod that lets you romance the wizard, and I was like, sick. And so I did that. But in the same playthrough, I was like, what would be more fun? Like, what would be more interesting? If I divorced the wizard, and then in the same route is also the route that I chose to romance Sebastian, because I hadn't done Sebastian's route yet, and I was like, I still want to romance, like, because I think I still wanted to romance one of the, like, original, like, romanceable candidates, and I was like, what if I divorce the wizard and marry Sebastian? And for the rest of that playthrough, I was like, now I have this, like, because I played pretty deep into the game, and I was like, now I have this, like, very dramatic dynamic. I have the mod that lets you romance the wizard. Yeah, it's a good mod. I like it. And I love that I married the wizard and then I divorced the wizard. And so one of my favorite character dynamics is being divorced, okay? Divorced characters, listen, like, romance is fine, romance is great, but divorced characters, that's where we're cooking. That's where we're cooking. Like, the whole idea of, like, these two characters know each other so intimately, but also they don't like each other. But also, what if they still kind of do? But also, like, they don't. But also, like, oh, it's so good. There's so much potential for, like, characters that are divorced versus just, like, a straightforward romance. Okay? And I decided the dynamic I would rather have with the wizard, the dynamic I'd rather have with the wizard is that we are divorced exes and I've already married someone else. But obviously, because of how the game is, Wizard is still single, and I'm just, like, living. And it's, listen, the potential, the story potential, insane, okay? Look, he's got feet. He's got his little feet. Well, they're not very little. They're pretty big feet. His feet are pretty chunky. But he's got his feet. And so, yeah, something about characters that are divorced, okay? And I just thought it was a more interesting storyline to have. To divorce the wizard. And so that's what I did in my playthrough. His storyline is weird, yeah. It is pretty funky, but I mean, I didn't dislike it. I thought it was fun. But I just decided I would rather be divorced. And then I also romanced Sebastian. I do like Sebastian's route. Sebastian's route's pretty fun. I understand why he's so, like, he's such a fan favorite. Because, like, I get it. One of his, like, character events is literally you just play a D&D. Just play, like, a D&D one-shot. Yes. Heather. What's happening? I'm concerned. What do you mean you're concerned? I just love, like, messy, complicated stories. I love messy, complicated stories. Listen, I feel like this is... it's kind of similar to my taste in fictional men is very toxic. I like... Okay, listen. It's... My taste in fictional men is very toxic and bad. Like, I fully am aware of this. But my taste in real people is very normal. My current partner is very nice and is an accountant and isn't a murderer. And it's just like, listen, but fiction is separate. In fiction, I love the complicated and the toxic, okay? I love when characters are divorced. I love characters that are evil and bad and do terrible things, okay? It's just more fun and interesting that way. It is just more fun and interesting that way, but don't worry. This does not reflect my real life. I promise. I can be normal in real... that's a lie. I can't be normal in real life, but I can, like... don't divorce your current partner. Don't worry. I'm not planning on it. I'm not planning on divorcing my current partner. I do like them. I would prefer not to be divorced in real life. It just seems like it sucks. Yeah. It just seems like it sucks. Honestly, I don't even know if I want to get married in the first place, but it's just like something about the formality of it freaks me out, and the whole idea of divorce and whatnot. You know, this is not the time to unpack my commitment this is not the time to unpack my commitment issues. That's a conversation for my therapist. That is a conversation for my therapist. But, okay. Well, it's got feet. What's next? So then we continue on. The leg is... Oh, I just noticed... Wait, we're gonna zoom in so it's easier to look at. I just noticed that there's, like, it shows you the inner armor and the outer armor on the little thing. That's really cool. Same thing on all of them. On over here too for the head unit. It shows you the inner armor and the outer armor, which is really funky. I love little details like that where you can see all the insides and all the bits. One of the things that I love about a lot of these master grade kits is that the insides are still so detailed. You don't get it as because real grades also, a lot of real grades also do the inner armor, outer armor thing. So we're coming up to 1 p.m. I'm gonna chill for a second. Make sure this oh yeah. If you like the stream, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. And leave a comment if you are enjoying things. Because it is the easiest way to directly support us. This is just like engage, because engagement is good. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. But yeah, I love those little details of, like, you get the inner armor, outer armor. You get that a little bit on real grades too, because real grades also do the inner armor, outer armor thing. But the thing about a lot of these master grades is that because they're a bigger scale, the inner parts can just be so much more detailed. I remember, I think I have talked about it when I was building Master Grade Astray. When I was building MG Astray, I also talked about that a lot, of like how crazy detailed the inside was. And I was like, this is insane. And then you just slap the armor on top, but I still, even though like a lot of it's still covered by the armor, I like the build feel of that. I also just really like the build feel of it. And so I love that in this they include, like, even in the illustration, you get the inner armor, outer armor, and you see how detailed it is. And you see how detailed it's going to be. Because same thing with the head too over here. Because you also got that of like, you get these really cool parts on the, like, I love you get all the like part moldings on the inside. And it looks so cool. It's so like cool to look at and handle. And a lot of these like joints and whatnot that are like the inner workings that get covered with armor are still really cool. And I can kind of see why people might not like it as much. Because a lot of it might seem pointless because you just end up covering it all with armor in the end anyway. But I love, like, the feeling of it. I like feeling like I'm building a robot. That's one of the things that I love about Gunpla. And so, yeah. That it's about 1 o'clock, actually. It's exactly 1 o'clock. I think now that we've finished his featsies, it's a good time to leave off for today. How's the progress on the D&D book going? I personally do not know. But if Heather does, Heather will mention it. But if you're not, are pre-orders closed? I don't think you can support the Kickstarter anymore. Really good. We're currently only waiting for some artwork to get finished up. We're trying to get it the printer by May. Excellent. That's so cool. I think it's too late to support the Kickstarter, but like, it's still really cool. If you're interested in it, keep up with the development, and I'm pretty sure it'll be in the store. I'm pretty sure it'll just be in the store, as far as I know. But, as always, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Oh! I should mention right now, next week, I will not be here. I will not be here next week. I will be working at Anime. Pre-orders are up if you didn't get the chance to back it. Excellent! That's so cool! But, I will not be here next week. I will be working at Anime Boston, actually. It's fun. I like working at conventions, and next week, I will be working at Anime Boston. So I will be in Boston next weekend. I will not be here. I will be working at the convention. If anyone's going to Anime Boston, let me know. Have a great I hope you have fun. But I will be working there, and so that's what I'm gonna be doing next week. But the week after, I will be back with Mr. Gouf. The week after that, I will be returning with Gouf. It was kind of last minute too. It's the same people that I work with, that I work for at Anime NYC, are at a bunch of East Coast conventions and whatnot, and so I'm like, I have free time. I bet I could just go to more conventions, because honestly, I just prefer working at conventions these days. You better plug the stream and stop. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Time to plug the stream and stop. So yeah, that's the news. I will not be here next week, but I will be here the week after, same time, Saturday, at 11 a.m. EST. I shall be here. And so, yeah, thank you, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. If you like the stream, don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to continue watching and be notified when I'm live next, which will be 2 weeks from now. And yeah, you can copy the link to the stream if you want to also support, because I think that does also help with engagement, is just copy the link of the stream when you hit like the little share thing and copy link. Doesn't matter if you put it anywhere, but it's good to do that apparently. But yeah, thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I shall see you guys later. Bye bye!